There are events in the life of a senator that are memorable, and one of those that comes to my mind was attending the bill signing ceremony where President Obama signed the law which repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was a day of great celebration and relief. The rabbi who gave the invocation that day, I remember his words, said, "When you look into the eyes of another person, if you don't see the face of God, at least see the face of another human being." And I thought to myself that that really is what this conversation is all about. Recognizing our own frailties and weaknesses and strengths, but seeing in the face of every person another human being. The woman who gave the invocation that day was someone I'd never met and still have not met, but have admired and told her story many times. Retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Marguerite Kammermeyer. This was a woman who served as a combat nurse during Vietnam, risking her life for our men and women in uniform, and progressing through the ranks to the status of colonel, and then answering honestly one day on a questionnaire that she was lesbian. And for that, she was discharged from the service. There was never any suggestion that she had ever done anything wrong or ever failed in her duty to her country. But she was the victim of outright discrimination. Senator Grassley was kind enough to mention my name in his opening statement. I thank him. And mention the fact that I voted for the Defense of Marriage Act. That is true. And others did as well. I won't use that as an explanation or excuse. But I recall when a former congressman from Illinois named Abraham Lincoln was challenged because he changed his position on an issue. And his explanation was very simple. He said, "I'd rather be right some of the time than wrong all the time." That is why I'm an original co-sponsor of Respect for Marriage Act that Senator Feinstein has introduced. I believe that this is eminently fair and gives to those who are in a loving relationship an opportunity to receive benefits which they deserve. Mr. Menery, I've read your testimony. I wasn't here when you presented it, but if we are truly interested in the welfare of children, and we are, it seems to me that denying basic financial resources to a loving couple who have adopted a child is not the way to help that child. In fact, I think we can find that in many instances, families that struggle financially have a tougher time raising children. Not all the time, but many times. It just makes a lot more sense for us to recognize under the law that when it comes to federal benefits, that a same-sex relationship that is recognized in a state is going to be recognized by our federal government across the United States of America. I would just can close by saying that I know that this is an issue which has evolved in America. The feelings of most Americans, the majority today, about same-sex marriage have changed, and I think they have changed for the better. This new law does not mandate any religion to change its beliefs. This new law does not mandate any state to change its laws. What it does is say that as a nation, our federal government is going to recognize the rights of same-sex couples to the basic benefits which they are entitled to. This could have been a hearing under my subcommittee for constitutional law and human rights, but Chairman Leahy asked if he could make it a full committee hearing. I'm glad he has, so that more of my colleagues could come here, speak, and be on the record in support of the Respect for Marriage Act.